Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and I wanted to make a video about something kind of fun. But before we get into the video, I think we're gonna have a lot of news coming up this week. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as we kind of digest all of it. I think we should be getting a conquest character reveal for Queen Amidala. I think we'll also be getting the new set information. I think we'll also, with that kit reveal for Queen Amidala, we'll probably end up figuring out what maybe the other guys that she's supposed to work with, what her team is supposed to look like. So yes, be sure to follow the channel, guys. Subscribe to the channel, as we know that we're gonna break down all that stuff. So this video though is all about, they announced the raid, they gave us some specifics. I'm gonna go into who I think is really good chance of being there. Either they have told us, or this is just a, kind of good guess, I would say. Now, before I get into all that, I will say this. When we look at things, there were the for sures, right? Like when we look at all the raids that we've ever done, there are the for sures. And then there's just the ones that were like, hey, these guys don't really make sense, but we need more teams and we need more characters, or whatever the case is. So we're opening these things up, right? So, like for instance, Sortie is a made-up character, yet she was over there killing crate dragons, right? The entire Imperial Troopers faction is hunting down Imperials on the Endor raid, right? We have guys like Admiral Akbar on the Rebels. So it's not like this is going to be lore specific. We always know that. But these are the ones that I know, or I think that they're going to be a really good shot at being there. I'll kind of explain each one as we kind of go along. So this one was given to us, Queen Amidala, right? They said that her team was going to be part of it. She was going to be kind of an important part of it. So act like this is Queen Amidala. Now, Coruscant Underworld Police, act like that's Captain Panaka. I'm guessing Captain Panaka is part of that. And then Jedi Knight Guardian, for me, is either going to be Sabe, which is the decoy who is played by Keira Knightley, if I remember that, if that's her, how we say her name right. But so that's either gonna be Sabe, but there's also a chance, and this is where it kind of gets me a little bit hyped. So within Queen Amidala's, they've already talked about how they gave in sort of the kit reveal that she's kind of got built into her a decoy. So I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I could see it being something like a GBA situation where they summon the brute, right? And you kind of have to go for that person before you go. And in that case, I think that would be Sabe. So they gave us that there are going to be 3 characters that kind of go with her. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that maybe this is Jedi Padawan Kenobi. Right, so episode 1, Phantom of Menace, Kenobi. Could be wrong on that, but I think it'll make sense when we kind of get down to the next part of the list. All right, so I actually filled this out a long time ago, before we were even handed like the Gungans, some of these. So I actually had just all Jawas in here, but yeah, basically these are Gungans. We know that, right? So they've given us the name as 2 other kind of non-named Gungans, and then we'll have Jar Jar. So these guys are going to be like your Hutt Cartel. So yeah, don't sleep on them. They look really good so far. Like honestly, they look super annoying. They look very tanky. So all those things said, and I'm sure they're going to get a Datacron. I'm sure they're going to get like a galactic challenge and maybe even an assault battle. Who knows what they're going to do, but don't sleep on them. Farm them up as much as you can. Yeah, just go for them, guys. You're also going to be helping your guild out with the Gungans. So these guys are guys that were there that we currently have in the game, right? And I think Qui-Gon Jinn is one of them. I think he's a sure bet to be one of them. R2D2 also. He wasn't at the battle in the fields, but I mean, he was leading Anakin through like advanced combat simulation, where he kind of, you know, goes and takes out the ship. So I think he's going to be kind of important. So that kind of goes with the, like, what I would say is the givens. They did give us a Separatist faction, and these guys, again, were guys that were there, right? Newt Gunray, the B1 battle droid, Droideka, and the Stap. I think you could probably, like, I have a feeling that they're going to somehow include Darth Maul, right? Like, you know how Jedi Knight Luke is not a actual rebel, but then you can actually use him on Endor. I'm getting those same kind of vibes. So I should have probably put Darth Maul right in here. I think he's probably going to be used as well. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but again, he's there, and that's all we really need to do. There's going to be people that are included in this raid that weren't even there, that probably weren't even part of the, you know, whatever, and we're going to still use them. So that's kind of my whole point with saying all these things. So again, kind of guys that make sense, right? I went with some guys that, like, I thought were going to be for sure. They seem like they've been trying to give us some softballs, right? So, like, I think Grandmaster Yoda, again, guy that is, you know, at that point in time, he's basically the leader of, you know, the Jedi Order. Mace Windu would take on kind of a bigger role as the Clone Wars unravels, but I think he also makes sense. Like, these two guys have a ton of screen time in the Phantom Menace, so, like, I put those guys in there. Now, Eth Koth, you're probably wondering yourself, like, why is this guy in there? The big thing is he's got this anti-droid specialist thing. It's not so much that I think that he's going to be in there, but they're going to make some of these guys that we weren't really, you know, investing in, they're going to make those guys be important. I could see how, you know, having some droid synergy or some droid, you know, I guess anti-droid synergy would help. And same thing with Amidala, like, he's got some anti-droid stuff as well. So I could see these guys being important pieces. You know, every raid gives us that you know, those few kind of questionable characters that we have to kind of eat. And, you know, Relic 7, Relic 5, wherever your guild is at, Relic 8, in order to make work. And then Cam, he just seems like he's been getting a ton of use in PvP and, you know, all the other things, right? His Jedi Council, you know, unique. I could see this just playing a huge part in what makes a good squad. So yeah, those guys were, like, kind of what I was thinking were the obvious ones. But yeah, I'm curious to see what we have happen. As always, guys, I would never recommend you just go out and rush gear into any of these things that I'm saying, unless you want us to do Gungans or Queen Amidala. The last few conquest units speak for themselves. You guys can just add relics to those guys. But, you know, they're making these teams be pretty good. You know, I wouldn't just go out and Relic 8, you know, Qui-Gon Jinn just because I said so. R2-D2 is a good one just because he's part of a Leia build. So, I mean, I think you're probably safe to do that, you know, upgrade that as well. Again, I wouldn't bank on these guys, but when they labeled the Separatists in there, I mean, I just couldn't see, you know, like Count Dooku, or not Count Dooku, but yeah, even him, like Grievous, even though those guys are probably going to be included. Right now, the for sure's are these guys, just because they're either there on the battlefield or they were in Phantom Menace. And so that's why I think these guys are going to be included. Anyways, like I said, just want to have a fun little video before we kind of get into the meat of the week stuff. So hopefully keep it light for your Mondays. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.